This is our coursework 1, exploring the challenges of new global business environment. Our group is C. This is our table of content. Today I will describe an introduction about Royal Philips by Hill House Capital Group. These are some points I will discuss. Hill House as a financial powerhouse. Hill House Capital Group is a global equity firm. Hill House was founded by Li Zhang in 2005. Hill House Capital is the one of most successful investment firm, raises the billion of dollars investing by businesses around the world. That's why they call it a financial powerhouse. Second point, Royal Philips is refocusing domestic electronic healthcare technologies. Philips is a Dutch multinational corporation. It was founded in 1891. Since 1997, it has been mostly headquartered in Amsterdam. We know it as a bulb light maker, and they have done great innovations in electronic appliances. On the other hand, Philips also run EcoVision initiatives which commits to the number of environmentally positively improvement focusing on energy efficiency. Hill House taking Royal Philips. Philips has completed of sale of domestic appliances and business to Hill House Investment, a global investment firm. The results of this transaction, which Philips announced on March 25, 2021, was reported under discontinued operation in the third quarter of 2021. Philips received cash proceeds after tax and transaction related to cost of euro 3 billion. The last point, Hill House partners with world-class entrepreneur. Hill House partner with world entrepreneurs who operate at the transaction of growth and sustainability. Since our founding in 2005, we had the privilege of working with iconic leaders to redefine their industries. We are long-term investors focused on building high-quality businesses that last. Then next part discuss macro analysis by my colleague.
The next part of our presentation would be the macro analysis for the two countries. About the macro analysis for the Netherlands and China, our group used the pastel model as well as the cage framework to analyze the environments for the two countries, and therefore we state out whether it is an opportunity or a threat to two companies. The first factor is the political factor of the Netherlands. So the Netherlands is the parliamentary constitutional monarchy, so it would be a threat to the two companies because those two companies come from two different countries with different political system, which is the Communist Party culture for the China. In the economic factor, Netherlands imports petroleum from Russia, which is also a threat because of the Russia and Ukraine war. So the import from the two countries would be affected. And about the social factor, the Dutch people have a work-life balance lifestyle, and the demand for the household appliances is very high because they need appliances to serve their work in the house to make things easier for them. So it is an opportunity for the two companies to sell their products in the Dutch market. About the technology factor, the Netherlands is a leading country for technological advancement, which is an opportunity since Royal Philips, is a company which need high technology machines to run their product, to create their product, so it would be like a great support for them. About the environment factor, the Netherlands experienced the overexploitation of natural resources, and it is a threat. So, it is a threat because the company will need to find a solution to protect the environment to help stop the overexploitation of the natural resources. And about the legal factor, the Netherlands has the liberal and accepting style to to new to new legal terms, so that China firms need to adapt to that because in China things is not that easy, it's not that liberal. It is kind of something that needs to be structured. So China's firm will need time, we need more time to adapt to that. Uh, the next part would be the macro analysis for China. In the political factor, other than the fact that it is different system from the Netherlands, there is another threat that China doesn't have a good relationship with the US. However, the US is one of the most powerful countries in the world with the largest economic system, so it is a big threat because of the relationship. The second factor is the economic one, which is an opportunity since China is now growing and is the second largest nominal GDP in the world. The third factor is about the social factor, and in this factor, after we research, we found out that the population of China is 1.45 billion. So the labor force would be benefited from that. About the technology factor, it is a threat because Chinese people use different platforms than other places in the world, like different social media and different websites or things to search. So the two companies need to come up with new marketing strategies to fit into the Chinese market. And about the environment factor, Chinese also suffer from many types of pollution, and it is a threat since the company also need some time to like adapt to the new environment. And about the legal factor, it is a threat because China has many laws for like Chinese business which is not suited for other countries. So Royal Philips is based in Netherlands, so they would like need time to come up with some new strategies to fit into the Chinese law's legal system since they are bought by the Hill House.
Okay, I would like to talk about the background on the potential cultural challenge between the two countries. And there's the 5 point of view. The first one is the linguistic and cultural potential challenge. Majority of the Dutch people speak 4 or 5 languages, including the English, and also the English is the global language. But many people in China, they just can read or understand it, but cannot express it very well, so there may be some problems with the communication between them. The second point is about mixing business with the personal life. According to the Hofstede masculinity, it's very low in the Netherlands. People usually separate life and work. They never work on holiday or when they have some family activities. But in China, many people put their work first and sacrifice their time. So this may lead to some problems with time delays when work is approached. And the third point is about pandemic policy. In 2022, Netherlands only requires a visa to enter the country, while China is still implement a dynamic about zero COVID policy. This is good news when they come to the Netherlands, but at the same time, because of the Chinese policy, many people have not experienced the positive in the COVID. They also still need to protect themselves as well. And due to the cultural differences, these two charts illustrate a huge distinction between the two countries. As we can see, the holiday time in the Christmas and the New Year is one of the most obvious ones. People never celebrate Christmas in China. While they celebrate Lunar New Year, it means the Spring Festival, whereas in the Netherlands, there is a holiday in Christmas time, which means the Chinese team need to work on the Spring Festival. Therefore, the Chinese team need to adapt the holiday time when they are working at the Netherlands. For the last point of view is the legal and policy. As a member of the European Union, the Netherlands is not only need to follow the regulations in their own countries, but also the EU regulations. But in China, the legal policy is the same in every part of the country. It may be a little more cumbersome when they're facing legal issues, so the Chinese teams must be familiar both to regulations. So this is end of my speech, and next part is turned to my partner.
Now I'm going to talk about the cultural difference between these two countries. So the first part is power distance. In this graph, China's power distance is 80, while the Netherlands' power distance is 38. For China, Chinese habitually obey their superior. Because China is made up of tight guanxi, so Chinese think it is important to have a good relationship with superior. In contrast to China, Netherlands society advocate equality, for which superior and subordinate are contractual, and the power of Netherlands company is highly decentralized. The second part I want to talk about is individualism, and the Netherlands score is a quarter of China's score, as we can see in this graph. As I said before, China is made up of tight guanxi, so Chinese think that team interests take precedence over personal interests, and Chinese company even rarely change their cooperator or supplier. However, Netherlands is a highly individualistic society, so the relationship between employers and employee is based on contractual arrangement. The next part is the masculinity, and we can see that the score of China and Netherlands are very different as well. Chinese society is success-oriented and driven, so many Chinese will sacrifice family and leisure time to work to make more money. For Netherlands, managers lead through consensus, and people love to balance between their families and work value. Move to the next page, I'm going to talk about the indulgence. As China's score is 24 and Netherlands' score is 68. China is regarded as a restrained country, while Netherlands is indulgent. Different from China, which tend to encourage aggression, Netherlands place a higher degree of importance on leisure time. Okay, now let's look at the assertiveness of Globe project. As China's practice score is 3.76 and the Netherlands practice score is 4.32, China think it's more important to maintain harmony, while the Netherlands think it's more important to speak frankly. To the final part, I'm going to talk about the universalism versus particularism of Trump's framework. China, as a particularistic society, tend to act according to circumstance, while Netherlands relies on formal rules and regulation to manage aspects of life.
Hello everyone, I'm Sitong Liu and I will to talk about our strategy. Firstly, I will to explain the strategy. The strategy is a transnational strategy, and it means based on two countries' different business culture, which is a planned action into different countries. This strategy focuses on 2 points. The first point is US to oversee and to connect to whole companies with the head office operation in the world. And the second one is aimed at a local brand and responsibility, which can focus on local benefit. And there is an example to explain this. The example is a labor salary. In China, due to the big population, the labor salary is very cheap, and the companies always require staff have a spirit of devoted. But in Europe, for example Netherlands, the work time and the personal time is very clear. People do not like the impersonal time to work, and in Netherlands, welfare is very good. People's salary higher than the Chinese. And then I will to talk about why use this strategy. This strategy has the two advantages. The first advantage is high global integrate. The head office can help other countries when they need help. The head office to consider the general business method. Meanwhile, some subsidiary companies have autonomy to them local brand. This way can make the product quality. And the next, advantage is high local responsiveness. That means the strategic attention to the local market and use local resource, attach and catch the local customers. In this way, we can saving some money about transportation and the funding resource. And there is example to discuss. We can employ the local labor and according to the local culture to exchange the packaging of a local product. In this way, maybe customer will prefer like our product because our product the packaging is designed in the local culture.
So guys, here we are today to discuss about the acquisition of Royal Philips by Hill House Capital Management. So thank you all of the guys, thank you all of my colleagues to discuss about the analyze about the situation. So I'm here to summarize the situation and talk about what we have learned and what is the recommendation from our side. So the learning outcome. What is the learning outcome? What we have learned? We have discussed about the introduction of company. We have to get to know that how they have started, what they have been doing, how they shift their, how the Royal Philips shift their interest from domestic product to the medical technology, and we discuss about the background and the potential cultural challenges, for example, like language barriers, zero COVID policy, public holidays, which can create some discrepancy. We have analyzed the cultural difference between the China and Netherlands from the perspective of Hofstede, global project entrepreneurs. We saw a massive cultural difference between China and Netherlands about the power distance, individualism and collectivism, masculinity and femininity, indulgence and restraint. So I think there is a gap, which is obviously a gap in which we have to work. And we also talk about the assertiveness from Globe Project. For example, we can see, as we have discussed, that there is a deep harmony in China, but in Netherlands it's totally opposite. They believe in the one's opinion. We analyze that Netherlands is more universalistic culture, and the other side, China, is a more particularism culture, which I personally believe that this is actually going to help somehow to the employees of Netherlands from this culture. And it's not wrong to say that this culture is somehow going to affect the presence of Royal House Capital in the Netherlands in a very challenging way. If I come toward the transactional strategy, we have discussed about like what strategy should adopt, what is that they can invest in that their domestically, what is the difference between the wages, how they can cover the gap, and this is all the outcome we have learned from this analysis. And let's come towards the recommendation. So in the recommendation, I have some point which are these. For example, the first one I'm going to talk about is the merging two leadership skill. Hill House Capital should have mixed cultural management, and by doing this, they can make a good sync decision power maker, and it's definitely going to help in the management skill. They can have an exchange program by exchanging managers between these two countries, and where they can learn different management style. So the second one is empathy. Hill House Capital Management should work in a way that they will be able to understand other feeling, so they can lower the gap of the cultural difference. The third one is reconcile. So I would say that Hill House Capital Management would obviously face some cultural difference due to different background. And but what they can do, they can create a platform. They can have a sessions where they can discuss about these problems, reconcile them, and come up on the same page, and it will definitely help company to grow. The last but not the least is about the respect of cultural difference. So how they should do this. So what they should do, Hill House can deal with this problem if manager listen to their employees experiences without being a critical or judgmental, and ask question to take the genuine interest, so their employee can see that their this Chinese management is seriously taking their opinions, and they're genuinely taking the interest. It means a lot to the people from the different culture, and it will also help Hill House Capital to learn about these employees in the Netherlands, and to learn about the local culture which they are going to face in the Netherlands.
So that was all from my side. Thank you so much. And on the last slide, I'm going to present a list of reference lists. So thank you so much.